good evening, and welcome along to another big show here on NVTV. Hope we find you well this evening. What's coming up?
Well, we'll be chatting to Chris Hughes, who is at the horse races at Down Royal.
And as well as that, we'll have some live music from the archives. We'll have something good from Barry Kirwan and also Brennan Leigh and Noel MacKay.
But first of all, let's chat baby showers.
Have you ever been to a baby shower?
No, I haven't actually. I had to really think about that there, Robin, but no, I haven't.
Well, we're going to find out more about baby showers because celebrity event planner Chrystal Gale joins us on the line. And we'll also take a look at some new research out at the moment as well. Clare Francis is the Director of Savings and Investments at Barclays as well. We'll start off with Clare. Thank you for joining us on the big show this evening. Let's talk baby showers. There I was thinking it was just something that Americans did, but it's big business here now as well, isn't it?
It's definitely big business, I think, and growing in popularity. And I think that's partly fueled by social media. And a lot of people are being sort of inspired to host quite extravagant baby showers here in the UK as well. And we found that people are spending an average of £406 on a baby shower. And they say that actually what they're seeing on things like Instagram is sort of, I guess, inspiring them as to sort of hosting these events and making them very sort of, I guess, a big celebration, really, much more so than we're perhaps used to here in the UK.
So why are we spending so much money on baby showers? I'm thinking about young families, a couple who's maybe saved up, they've just got married, the baby's on the way, they're saving up for that. Maybe they've got a new house that they're paying for at the moment as well. Where's all this money coming from?
Well, that's the thing, and I think that's the point of this research is that, it's great to have this celebration, but don't feel pressured to spend more than you can afford. And you can have a party and you can celebrate an impending arrival without it breaking the bank. And absolutely, hosting a baby shower should not be something that you're getting into financial difficulty for. So, what we want to try and do is help people sort of work out how they can do this if they want to in a way that's affordable and, and on a budget. And actually, the current environment, the fact that we can't all get together and have a big party at the moment is perhaps helpful for some people, particularly given a lot of job insecurity and money worries that people are facing. It can help relieve some of that pressure because you can have a get together over Zoom, or if you are living in an area where you can still mix with a sort of a small number of people, perhaps you can get together face to face, but do it in a way that is fun, you have a great time, but doesn't cause you any financial stress.
Now, as well as the baby showers, we're also finding out about these gender reveal parties as well. So they're getting two goes at the celebrations really now, aren't they?
Yes, Chrystal can probably talk more about that. But I've seen my cousin actually and his wife, they had one of those a few months ago. That's the first time I'd ever seen one.
Well, let's bring in celebrity event planner Chrystal Gale. Chrystal, what advice would you give to someone wanting to have a baby shower?
I think the best advice that I would give at the moment is kind of take advantage of the current scenario and that you don't actually have to think on such a grand scale. You can keep it small in terms of your party sizes if you're restricted to doing so. And then you can kind of focus on the detail of the decoration and actually what's important. Because, I mean, from our perspective of before baby, and what we think is fantastic about the research at Barclays is that parents to be actually do really enjoy baby showers. They do think it's worth it. And it's because of the fact that you're coming together and you're with your friends or your family, etc., and you're just celebrating the fantastic thing that is birth, etc., and the fact that a baby is coming into the world. It's not about all the extravagance and the luxury. What you might see on social media are these huge kind of huge backdrops, decorations, celebrations, but you can recreate something like that on a much smaller scale at home with just your small number of guests, or even on a virtual scale, and just focus on a small corner of your front room, a particular chair, just a small place in the house, and still have the same effect. It will still look fantastic on Instagram, and you'll still get the kind of the fun of the day and enjoy being around the people that you want to.
So Chrystal, tell us a little bit about some of the big events or big baby showers that you've had the pleasure to organise.
Yeah, well, we kind of do events on completely different scales. So, for example, you have the higher scale, the higher budget clients, for example, who will do things like have a fairground in their back garden. You'll have
Wow.
spa treatments, massages, pampering for mum to be, makeovers for all the guests, or things that are completely kept within theme. On the other hand, which we also love doing, are the home baby showers, and it's something that we kind of focus on. So it's those smaller parties of, 10, 15 guests, even 8 people. And you've got a tower of cupcakes, you've got a nice little bit of decoration, some games, just some things to bond the group and have fun. So we kind of see completely different ends of the scale, and we work with kind of all budgets. So from the large to the small to the big parties of 300 people, doing mass groups of women running around putting nappies on baby dolls, to just the smaller ones having afternoon tea and decorating baby grows and having some cake.
Now, what about the etiquette if you're invited along to a baby shower? What do you bring? Do you bring gifts? How does it work?
So in terms of the kind of etiquette for a baby shower, we would say that especially in the UK, the focus is not on the gift giving. Okay, so we would say that if you were thinking of bringing a gift, it is wonderful to bring a gift, but you don't actually have to feel pressured. It's actually just about the fact that you're there. But as a parent, if you want to kind of ensure that this kind of works, and I think especially if you're thinking about the research that Barclays have done, that parents are going to be under a huge amount of pressure because there's a baby coming along. Essentially, if you can kind of direct people to saying what you would kind of like, it's not presumptuous. It's absolutely fine to say, actually, we're going to have enough baby clothes, but we really, really need something, something for the nursery, or, something specific for the pram. It's okay to kind of direct people in that way to kind of help yourself budget.
And what about then the etiquette for gender reveal parties? Do you bring a present for that?
Surely that's just an excuse to drink lots of Prosecco, isn't it?
Apart from the mum to be.
For in terms of the gender reveal parties, the etiquette is quite similar. You'll find, especially for the average person, they don't tend to have a baby shower and a gender reveal. And if there is, then there's no focus on the gift giving or for both of the celebrations. But if you do go to a gender reveal, it is actually more about the spectacle of just finding out if it's a boy or a girl. If you want to bring something along, then that's entirely up to you, but there is no pressure to do so.
So we've seen online these gender reveal parties where the parents have used balloons to reveal the gender of the baby, pink for girls, blue for boys. What other ways can we make these events more exciting?
Well, there have been some things that are quite unusual. For example, even we've had gender reveal lasagnas served in restaurants. So the actual pasta is pink or blue. So that's kind of one end of the scale. There's also you can kind of shoot like powder bombs into the air. You can have a ball filled with powder. I think we had a recent footballer who actually did that with his wife, where they kicked a ball and it exploded into a mass of colour. So it can be really, really nice and visual and beautiful in terms of like social media and getting fantastic shots for your photos and things like that, and make really nice memories. So there's so many different ways to reveal, apart from just balloons coming out of boxes, even in like a treasure hunts. So many different things you can do nowadays. People are getting so creative and it can be so much fun.
Now, research shows that we're spending over £400 on a baby shower. So what's the most extravagant amount that you've heard of for a baby shower?
I haven't had the luxury of doing one that has gone in excess of this budget, but I have heard that people have spent in excess of £5,000 or so on a baby shower, and that was just for 30 people. However, the average that we've kind of done is about £3,000 for about a 20-person baby shower. So that's a full-on afternoon tea, a wonderful venue. You've got an £800 cake of so many tears, and lots of wonderful gifts, because as well as actually giving gifts to mum to be or dad to be, you can also send your guests home with gift bags, and we've done some wonderful gift bags and favours for the guests to go home with as well.
Are there any websites that people can go to get some ideas for hosting these events?
Yeah, so if you're planning a baby shower, from Before Baby. Our website is www.beforebaby.co.uk, and you can go online there. We do full baby shower party packages, but also if you're planning one yourself at home, there are lots of DIY tips and tutorials, etc., that you can look at so that you can do things yourself or supplement it with part of a package. But I also know that Barclays also have a wealth of information too, in terms of you're planning your baby shower too, that might be able to help in terms of making sure that you can keep it on budget too.
And what about saving for it as well? Putting a bit away every month?
We'll bring Clare in for this one as well. Clare, where can people get more info about saving for events like this?
Yeah, so I think the key is budgeting and not feeling pressured to sort of spend more than you can comfortably afford. And let's face it, once the baby arrives, there's an awful lot of money that child's going to need, and it's a long-term investment in itself. So, we've got budgeting tools online, on our website and elsewhere. We also offer a service called Money Mentors. So if you are struggling, not just with the baby shower, but just planning for how you're going to cope when the baby arrives, and particularly at the moment with a lot of job insecurity around, and people might have seen reductions in their household income. It's a worrying time for a lot of people. So if you do need help, we offer a service called Money Mentors, and it's available to everybody, not just Barclays customers. And the address for that is www.barclays.co.uk/money mentors, and on there you can book an appointment with the Money Mentor. But there's also lots of help and advice, and we've got a Money Worries hub with lots of content on budgeting tips, savings tips, because that's the other good habit of getting into, work out what your budget is that you've got each month, but then also how can you start to put a bit of money away, particularly if you've got a baby on the way and for their future. So there's lots of information on there for people.
So Clare and Chrystal, thank you for joining us on The Big Show. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Well, it's time for some live music from the archives. We have Brennan Leigh and Noel MacKay.
I close my eyes and a wide blue sky is spreading out before me, and I'm hearing that old engine crank again in all its glory. It's a faded memory that I go back to now and then. I'd give my right arm to be on that farm with the John Deere H again. The John Deere H was a row crop tractor, ours was a 43, and I was still too young to drive, but I knew she was made for me. It'd be like heaven to start her up until that stubborn ground, but I'd climb up on the metal seat and make up my own tractor sounds. Folks that we knew. She wasn't sleek and she wasn't fast, took a while to get her going, but she beat a horse in a handheld plow for cutting hay and hoeing. And then to my surprise he said one night, boy, it's time you got to learn it, and he showed me how to check the spark and set that flywheel turning. I was only 8 years old, I had to stand to reach the pedals, but I was so proud you'd have thought that I just won some kind of medal. In the spring she pulled a corn planter in the newly thought out ground, and at harvest time she'd help make hay before the fields turned brown. She cut alfalfa with a sickle mower, the sweet smell filled the sky, and in dreams at night we'd still be working the John Deere H and I. Well, that old machine was a farm kid's dream, none like her before or after, but we let her go in hopes of knowing so-called greener pastures. Though I've been around the world, my life's the envy of most men. again. I give my right arm to be on that farm with a John Deere age again.
And that was Brennan Leigh and Noel MacKay, and we'll have some more live music later on the show from Barry Kirwan.
Now we're going to talk horse racing, and the Ladbrokes Festival of Racing took place over the weekend at the Down Royal. Chris Hughes was there. Here's what happened.
Well, it's a beautiful day. No bookmakers, no punters. But racing goes ahead. Welcome to Down Royal.
We're old hands in terms of operating a race course. Obviously, it's lesser difficulty by nature of it just being the industry. To give an example, last night we had 153 participants and stakeholders involved, and that'll be a similar model today. So it's not difficult in terms of organisation, because we're all adept in terms of our purpose here and what needs to be dealt with to ensure the safety of runners and riders. But just in terms of difficulties, I suppose at the centric to that is the financial aspect. You know, we're racing behind closed doors to sustain an industry, and there's just not enough money that's being generated to, I suppose, plug the gaping holes of the expenses, you know, we have to incur looking ahead, and the employees that, you know, we have to look after and afford long-term commitment in terms of their roles. So whilst we're managing cash flows well, it is a concern long-term that there's no layering of public and or no other ancillary incomes available to us in the short and medium term. I took over my tenure commenced on the 1st of January 2019, so we had a tremendous year, and obviously the November Festival was the culmination of all our hard work and efforts. It was an exceptional crowd over the 2 days. We tipped the scale at 10,000, which was the greatest volume in recent years, so I have to credit my team with that. We worked hard. They know how to sell racing, and that's something that's invaluable to me in terms of igniting the interest of people that aren't die-hard fans to actually come and enjoy what we do here from a food and beverage perspective and a sporting perspective at the heart of it. But like the atmosphere of that volume of people with the horses thundering, you know, down the home straight, it doesn't matter whether you know horses or not. That's something that I credit them in terms of marketing to interest people to attend. Quality stands for itself in terms of our race conditions. Obviously with the Grade 1 Ladbrokes Champion Chase, we've Grade 2s and Grade 3s. Obviously my long term is to see 2 Grade 1s, one on the Friday with the WKD hurdle promoted. Thankfully it did run for Grade 1 monies this year. It went from 50 to 60,000 euros, so at least it was the step in the right direction. But if they didn't have confidence, you know, the trainers in what I'm doing and what the team are doing, they wouldn't be showing here. So you know, I have to credit Shane Weber, head groundsman, in terms of the condition of the course. He's worked tirelessly, especially when he hasn't had teams during what was a very dry couple of months during lockdown. So we're delighted with the calibre of those that are supporting us, but the races are here, the money's here, and it is the centrepiece, the day 2. But we are, I suppose, the first steps on the best chaser, hurdlers and bumpers on their National Hunt season campaign, so we're very proud of that.
They go to the final fence, and it's Battle Over Doyen with Sam Crow trying to close in on him, but Battle Over Doyen has the initiative at the last. Battle Over Doyen from in second spot, Sam Crow, Easy Game trying to pick up again, but Battle Over Doyen is battling off all challengers thus far, and as they go up towards the line, a good polished performance here for a seasonal return. It's Battle Over Doyen who's going to take it from in second, Easy Game. Sam Crow's back in third. In fourth will be Yaha Fizz, sizing Potsy 5.
And of course, the feature race of today is the Ladbrokes Champion Chase. €74,000 to the winner. Not a bad amount of money. And we can see Gordon Elliott has multiple entries, as indeed he's here himself, and is Henry de Bromhead, another huge trainer. And he's in with a great chance as well today. So, our next race is the feature.
Shake-up, heading to the second last, presenting Percy, Chris's Dream, the storyteller. The trio go away from Delta Work and 2 Ipperme to the final fence they go. It's Chris's Dream with the storyteller presenting Percy just behind them, and they're in front of 2 Ipperme and Delta Work. Chris's Dream and the storyteller away from the last from presenting Percy. Chris's Dream, the far side's beginning to pick up further. The storyteller's trying to rally right back on the near side. Good old battle for the Ladbrokes Champion Chase. It's Chris's Dream and the storyteller right to the line. The storyteller's done it just from Chris's Dream in second. Back in third is 2 Ipperme, presenting Percy. Delta Work, Snow Falcon. Balca de Flow was next in front of Ravenhill, and the long-time leader to go by was the last one, Alpha de Zabo.
And the feature race of today was, of course, the Ladbrokes Champion Chase. Thrilling event, and the outsider of 5 entries from Gordon Elliott, the storyteller, won. Much shock to everyone, but not Gordon Elliott.
Hughes having some great fun at Down Royal.
Now, still to come, we'll be delving into the archives once again, and we'll also have some more live music from the Big Show archives from Barry Kirwan at the end of the show. But right now, let's do some entertainment news, and we'll start off by talking about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. It's back on our TV screens on the 15th of November, and of course this year they're not going down under, they're not going to the jungle, they're going to a castle in the middle of Wales. Okay, now this is going to cause lots of problems because you know how cold it's going to get at this time of year in Wales.
Absolutely, and you know, it is a shame for anyone that's on this time because, you know, the whole experience of the jungle is about the being in the jungle and the Australian outback, you know, with the lovely weather and everything. So yes, I feel sorry for them. However, they're still on the jungle, they're still on the show, and they'll still get that experience being out there, only it'll be bought.
And never mind the experience, they're still getting paid lots of money for it as well. So it is going to be freezing, it is going to be raining as well. We'll take a look at some of the latest celebs to sign up for it. Shane Ritchie, of course, has had his panto cancelled this year, so he's the latest name rumoured to be going into the castle.
Oh.
As well as that, we have Mo Farah, of course, and Coronation Street legend Beverly Callard.
Oh, right. Good for you, Beverly.
So how do you think she'll do in there?
I think, well, I can't imagine her having to eat some of those weird things and whatever, but you know, I think she's up for anything, Beverly, so I think she'll be really good.
But are they still going to eat those weird things in the middle of Wales?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, maybe it's some strange Welsh offerings. Who knows?
Okay, so I'm a Celebrity back on our TV screens on the 15th of November. Now, staying with the 15th of November, and the new series, the 4th series of The Crown, arrives on Netflix. It's a show that we haven't been watching yet, but we've got to catch up on it, don't we?
Yeah, definitely, and it seems a very popular, Robin, so we definitely have to sit down and watch it.
So yeah, a 3-minute teaser trailer is online right now, and they tell us that a feisty conversation between Margaret Thatcher and the Queen is a big focus for the latest trailer for The Crown. As I said, it's a 3-minute teaser, and it shows the pair played by Gillian Anderson and Olivia Colman during a tense meeting. Now, staying with Netflix, and Cold Feet star James Nesbitt is to star in a new Netflix drama series. It's a TV adaptation of Harlan Coben's best-selling mystery novel, Stay Close, and it follows 3 characters whose dark secrets resurface and threaten to destroy their lives. It's going to be an 8-part series, but there's no news as yet onto when it will be available to watch. Finally, for now, let's talk movies, and something that you can rent online right now is the new version of Roald Dahl's The Witches, directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Anne Hathaway, Stanley Tucci, Octavia Spencer and Chris Rock. Here's a clip from the new version of The Witches.
A note about witches. They're real.
Witches aren't really women at all. They're demons in human shape.
In every big city, in every small town, they live amongst us. And here's the most important thing. Witches hate children.
Ladies, I have a plan. One drop will transform a child into a mouse. And we will exterminate those brats.
Rats. We would exterminate the rats.
Why are we mouses? Mice. Whatever. Where am I? Down here.
Is that you, boy? Oh, Lord.
Come on, we gotta stop them.
We'll never let you get away with your filthy, evil plot.
Who's gonna stop me?
Yum! Doesn't matter who you are or what you look like, so long as somebody loves you.
You wouldn't happen to be carrying around a mouse on your person, now would you?
A mouse?
Mm-hmm.
Why on earth would I be carrying around a mouse?
So let's delve back into the archives, and it's hard to believe that it was over a year ago that we had our big night, Robin.
Yes, at the Grand Opera House in Belfast, a night to remember the broadcasting legend Gerry Anderson. What a gig it was. Some of Northern Ireland's finest singers, musicians and bands all got together for that big night, raising some money for charity as well. And of course you were there behind the scenes, weren't you?
I was, and I had a great time just chatting to everyone. But it was a very special night, Robin. So many people turned out for Gerry Anderson because everyone loved him really, and yeah, it was amazing.
And there was, people are still talking about it. There was so much love in the Grand Opera House that night. So let's relive some of those memories once again from the archives. Here's what happened behind the scenes at the Grand Opera House.
Robin Elliott, you were a really good friend of Gerry Anderson, but more importantly, you have put this whole night together, the tribute of Gerry Anderson. Where did it all begin?
A good question. It all began about a year ago when we had the idea to do something for charity. And I thought, well, it's coming up on the 5th anniversary of Gerry's death. And I said, let's do something to raise money for charity and remember the late great Gerald Michael Anderson at the same time as well. So we chose the charities. We chose Action Cancer, the Foyle Hospice, and Tiny Life, the premature baby charity. And then we just started getting acts together. And there's so many listeners, there's so many people who were on the TV show with him years ago and stuff, who are all here tonight. So we're all part of that. I was lucky. I was a friend for 20 years. Again, it happened by accident. I wrote him a letter. He was doing the TV chat show, Anderson in the Box at the time. And I said, Gerry, I want to be on TV. He brought me down to the TV studio. The rest is history, 20 years. And people say to me, what are you going to say about Gerry? I can tell so many stories, and I actually can't think what I'm going to say when I walk out on stage tonight. But when the late great Jimmy Ellis passed away, Gerry was too ill to go to the funeral, and he just sent a little letter saying, Jimmy Ellis, the man I want to be. So tonight I'm going to keep it as simple as that and steal Gerry's line and just say, Gerry Anderson, the man I want to be.
So we have Chris Hughes and David Sloan from Belfast 89 here tonight. Chris, you have many stories about Gerry. You worked with Gerry at the BBC, didn't you?
I did indeed, yeah, and I don't know just how many of them I can repeat on air, on television. But anyway, yeah, Gerry was a remarkable guy to work for, and he had this healthy thing that I've kind of learned from him in many ways, and that was a healthy disrespect for those who produced and directed him, because he didn't really need it. He could do all that stuff on his own,
Great. And what about you, David, then? Do you have any memories?
Well, Gerry Anderson was an inspiration to everybody way back years ago that wanted to become a broadcaster. So not only did I want to get into radio, but I also I got into setting up radio stations, and indeed Belfast 89 FM very much set up on the back of Gerry's inspiration and a lot of us wanting to do radio. So, hopefully we are somewhat of a tribute to Gerry Anderson with our music and with the fun that we have in the radio station.
So we have Malachy Cush. He's one of the performers tonight. Malachy, you must have lots of memories of Gerry Anderson.
I do, and all very fun. I'm just delighted that this evening's happening. It's so apt, and he's so worthy of a night to remember him. I have lots of great memories from him, but I have to, say that he was fundamental in my journey into broadcasting, because whenever I started doing stand-in work in BBC, I remember going up to Radio Foyle for my first stint, and him just spending a couple of days with me, and we went for a cup of coffee and just guiding me through, being at ease and being natural with yourself and all of the important things, because it's no easy feat what he did, but to be getting some little bits of advice from him was just really special. And he was just a darling of a man, and it's just sad that he's no longer here, but it's testament to him that he's still there so deeply in our hearts, and this night will go to prove that for so many people.
So we have the lovely Anne Hales here tonight with us at the Gerry Anderson Tribute Night. And Anne, have you got any lovely memories of Gerry?
I've one particular memory I'm going to tell you about tonight, and that was way back. We were sitting in a pub in Derry, just the two of us. I was researching a programme on stress and depression, and he had told me he was going through a rough time, and he would talk to me about it. So I went down, and early in the morning, the only two of us there, and he sort of poured out his life story. So although I don't know the musician very well, I don't even know the broadcaster all that well, but I felt that day I saw a wee bit of the man himself.
So Sal, you must have lots of stories to tell and lovely memories. What are they?
Gerry told me once about his favourite place is Naples in the world. That's his favourite place in the entire world. He also, his favourite food is Thai. And I had the pleasure of interviewing him once rather than him interviewing other people. It was nice.
That's lovely. And how was that? That must have been quite scary because he's so relaxed. Was it at the beginning of your career or later?
It was a time when he actually pushed me to do presenting. He kept saying I have a great face for radio. And I ended up interviewing him and it was great.
So, Denise Watson, I've been told that you've got a really good story to tell us. Something to do with a calendar with Big Buzz?
Yes, oh my goodness, Pauline, we're going back so for, but it's when obviously I first met Robin as well, and he encouraged me to dress up as Cher, and there was Gerry in the corner dressing up, I think, as either Butch Cassidy or the Sundance Kid, one of the two. But Gerry, I just loved the way that every time you met him, he had time for you, and he just smiled, and he just, you know, people stopped him in the street, and he always had time to chat. But yeah, he was actually appalled that I had never seen a John Wayne film. Because I'd said something about John Wayne, and he said John Wayne films, and I went, I've never seen a John Wayne film. And Gerry went, Young Watson. I can't believe that.
Sarah, you have lots of stories to tell, don't you?
Well, I suppose my first experience of Gerry Anderson was at the age of 17 when I went for work experience to Radio Foyle, and I met this unique character who just tore up the rule book, and whatever, you know, there were no rules with Gerry, and that's what I love, because I'd sort of come from school and was trying to do the best I could all the time. He said, don't listen to the boss, just do whatever you want, you know, have fun, and you'll never work a day in your life. And he was right. He was just absolutely wonderful, and he looked out for you all the time. He loved the young ones coming in, because I think he felt that he was still 21.
Yes, I think so.
So it's a huge honour tonight to be here and remember a wonderful, wonderful man.
So Christine, a tribute to Gerry Anderson, and you were with him for so many years. So tell me how you feel about tonight.
Actually very emotional, and I think it's going to be very bittersweet. And yes, I've been with Gerry for a lifetime, but you know, at this moment, it can't be brought back. But it's like tonight that he's here and with us in spirit. And I think it's going to be a really enjoyable night, and a night. The legacy that Gerry left is massive. And I think that for us as a family and for all his fans, he would have been really, truly shocked at how people thought about him.
And I think he'll be here tonight with us all. Do you not think so?
That's exactly what I'm saying. He's going to be here tonight. Well, he's here, I think, in everybody's hearts. So that's the best that we can hope for.
And what a fabulous night it was. Let's hope we can do another one just like it sometime very soon.
And finishing off the show tonight, we're going to go back into the archives and have some live music from Barry Kirwan.
That's all we have time for. We'll see you next time on The Big Show. Bye-bye.
See you then.
We work all week just to make ends meet. Sometimes it's a struggle, no, it ain't easy street. But when the work week's done, it's time to have some fun. You can dance in a pub or dance in the club. We're gonna do what we love, up the jive. Yeah, up the jive. The band is pumping, kick drums thumping. Come on, baby, yeah, you're looking stunning. Got a guitar picker picking, and that floor it ain't sticking. It's Saturday night, let's look alive, 'cause time ain't on our side. Up the jive. Yeah, up the jive. It's Saturday night. There's twirling, swirling, swinging and curling, holding for dear life. And there's flirting, curtain, knows for certain who's with who tonight. Up the jive. Yeah. So come on down, just be a man. As a pretty woman go, I'll take her by the hand. 'Cause if you take a chance, you might find romance. And if you don't believe, you might never see that it was meant to be. Up the jive.